Hello and welcome to Fire Up Connect radio show. I am James Watson with Sales Catapult, which is part of the Sales Acceleration Network of Fractional VPs of Sales. I'm an active and proud member of the Fire Up Connect Business Networking Group. And today we will be discussing ways to enhance your business operations and sales. I have two special guests joining me. One is Daniel Fieman, Managing Director of Build It Backwards, which is a strategic consulting and training firm. And he's also the author of the book on business. The other is Mike Gruley, who is a professional EOS implementer. That's Entrepreneurial Operating System. And he works for EOS Worldwide, which is a highly acclaimed and simple business management system that's designed specifically for privately owned and growth-oriented businesses. Welcome, Daniel. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much, James. It's good to be here.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your business, kind of what is your backstory? How'd you get started?
My backstory is a little unusual for most because I started off working in manufacturing in undergraduate school. And so I spent 6 years with dirty fingernails trying to make it through undergrad school. And then I moved on to marketing for a period of time and actually was recruited into a bank by a bank president who thought I'd make a better banker than salesman. And after almost 20 years in banking, it became obvious that I wanted to do something a little bit different and more proactive with my clients. So I left and started my consulting firm. And it's been great because we've been able to do both training and consulting now in 30 different countries besides the US.
Okay, well, that is an interesting story. So what exactly is strategic consulting from your perspective?
Well, strategic consulting, and I'm one of the few CMCs you will meet. As a matter of fact, most people don't even know what the designation is. It's a certified management consultant, which is less than 1% of the management consultants in the world. And strategic consulting is the way we look at it. Strategic is long-term. Many people create business or operating plans for the short term, but what we do is we work with them and create long-term visionary plans. The difference really is it helps them suspend all of their limiting assumptions, what they do today that keeps them from reaching lofty goals. We help them create that vision and then reverse engineer the process, going from their perfect business horizon back to today with specific actions, metrics, accountability. So it's very different from the typical tactical approach.
Well, you just touched on it a little bit, but why the name Build It Backwards?
When I started the firm many years ago, we had a very long name that had nothing to do with anything. No one could understand it or search for it. And I had an advisory board that kept on me to change the name to more reflect the way we worked. So we had discussions and eventually arguments, and finally I gave in, and it was the smartest business decision I think I made, because literally that is the way we work with clients. So James, if you're a client of ours, we would be working with you, helping you determine what is your ideal future vision. And from that point, literally turn around, create a success roadmap from, let's say, your 20-year perfect horizon back to 10, 5, and 1 year, because you look at things very differently when you look from your future back to today instead of the other way around.
Okay, so what does the acronym STEP that you referenced refer to? What does that mean?
Well, and you'll see that in my very next book. STEP is succession, transition, and exit planning. And those are 3 phases that every organization should go through. Succession is frequently thought of as, well, I plan to leave, so I better find my successor. And that is certainly one way to look at it, but we take a much more strategic approach. Every organization has the opportunity to strengthen its bench, to build the future leaders over time by plan. So that's the succession phase. And we actually have a succession planning model that we've developed over the years that we use with organizations. And every time we do it, they're amazed at how they're able to recognize, assess, and develop internal talent to make the organization stronger. And that's the first phase. Second phase is the transition phase. This is when, let's say, James, you decide that at some point in the future, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you definitely want to walk away, whether you sell, retire, etc. So that's when you look at specific steps, actions you need to take, both personally and professionally, to prepare the organization for transition, as well as yourself. And then when you're ready to pull the plug, euphemistically, then the formal exit planning process is put into place. So that's the third phase of this. And that I added when I became a board member of the Exit Planning Institute down in Orange County, which of course is a national organization.
Okay. So when I've heard you say too many people work in their business when they should be working on their business. What do you mean by that?
Unfortunately, the vast majority of organizations I've seen through my entire career, the leaders, the owners, are like hamsters on a wheel. They're spinning fast, they're putting out fires, they're taking care of business tactically, but they don't take the time to sit back, invest in their future, plan, implement, measure what can make the organization better. And the few organizations, the few leaders that actually take the time to invest in their future find that they're always significantly better off than they had been when they were just firefighting.
So what would you say business owners are missing when they're not creating and implementing a strategic plan like you're talking about right now?
What they're missing is the opportunity for solid planned growth that they control. And when they do this, they're just another Me Too trying to survive, when in reality, what we find is when you plan your future and you execute your plan, you can thrive instead of just survive, which is what we all in theory want, right?
Absolutely. Well, this is a very comprehensive program, obviously, that you have in place. If people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, of course, they can always look at our website, which is builditbackwards.com, literally the name of the firm. And of course, they can always email me directly at danielfieman@builditbackwards.com.
So Daniel, when you talk about strategic planning, what is unique about what you do, what your organization does?
Well, thank you for that question, James, because our approach is, I think, unique from anything I've seen in the marketplace. We start off by sitting down with a client and asking them really what their vision is, what their ideal future would look like. If everything they want in their business could happen, what would it look like? And we'll literally write that up on the wall. That is their ideal or future vision. Then we go through and help them clarify their mission. And this gets confusing for a lot of people. A vision is your ideal future. It's how you want to change the world effectively. A mission is what you do and who you do it for that will accomplish the vision. So both of those are very important to really get an organization focused, unified, and working in the same direction. Then we help them establish their core values. What does the organization stand for when no one is looking and an employee needs to make an important decision? If they make every decision consistent with your core values, then you know it's probably going to be the right decision. It's really the heartbeat, the soul of the organization. So vision, mission, values. That's what's really driving any organization in the proper, consistent, unified direction. So we do this in an Excel workbook, believe it or not. Each worksheet in the workbook is linked. So you got your vision, mission, etc. So we take the clients through an exercise for each. So I'm only facilitating. They're actually creating their own unique plan. So after the vision, mission, and values, then we help them establish their key goals. Long-term, step those down to medium-term, step those down to short-term, because that's what people take action on. No one is going to do something today that's going to impact the organization in 15 years. There's no link emotionally from an operational or practical standpoint. But the 1-year version, people take action on. So from those goals, we now have individuals step up and commit to specific actions for each goal, then measure them. Vision, mission, values, goals, metrics, actions. That is what makes a difference. That is how our clients generally earn between a 200 and a 300% ROI in the first year after working with us. It's a success.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. And that all really ties in with, you know, your the name of your company, with Build It Backwards, because you're starting with the end in mind and then, you know, working towards that, but keeping, you know, the shorter term goals in mind that are actionable and that will show results. So that that totally makes sense.
Very good. Absolutely agree.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Daniel. We appreciate having you join us today on Fire Up Connect. And we're going to be going to a station break now, so please stay tuned. And when we come back, we will be talking to Mike Gruley, EOS implementer of EOS Worldwide. Thank you.